Blood Bowl's game design is centered heavily on risk management. On your turn, you'll always want to do the least risky things first, because hey, wait a minute, I already started a video like this. Why am I repeating it? Because where the Chaos Chosen teams ignore the basics of Blood Bowl, this team actively go against the fundamentals, all for the sake of maxing out the blood flowing from the pitch. Whose blood? Doesn't matter. Welcome to Fumbled Guide to Blood Bowl. Blood for the Blood God! That's this team's whole MO. Take a Chaos Chosen team, give them some cultist linemen, then give everyone Frenzy. That's the Khorne team. Despite how simple that sounds, this one skill changes everything. Frenzy is one of the riskiest skills in the game. Whenever a Frenzy player pushes an opponent, they must follow up. And if their push didn't knock them down, they must immediately punch them again. Note how I said must and not may. Using this skill is mandatory. If you have it, you have to use it. This leads to the simplest counter to most Khorne teams, the Frenzy Trap. A Frenzy Trap is when a player positions one or two unmarked ally players behind a player your opponent will want to punch. That way, if the opponent's punch pushes but doesn't knock your guy down, the follow-up is now at a major strength disadvantage as assists get recalculated. Granted, this trap doesn't work if your guy goes down after the first punch, but guess what? If they do get knocked down, your opponent has now based one of their players next to one or two of your guys who are now able to punch back without wasting a blitz. Bewaring of frenzy traps is important for Khorne teams, but one thing is more important. Blood for the Blood God! As a Khorne team, you will want to punch often and punch hard. Picking up the ball is the last thing you will think about on your turn, and it's not just because you have no dedicated ball carrying skills. With the new addition came a new special rule that some bash teams, like Khorne, got access to: Brawlin' Brutes. This rule states that any casualties you inflict with blocks now generate more XP for your guys than touchdowns, when it's normally the other way around. This, combined with Mass Frenzy, means you will roll block dice like crazy, so yes, you will be starved for rerolls quite often with no other starting skills to save you. But what do you start with? Well, your linemen are human linemen with less armor and frenzy. They are disposable cannon fodder and backup ball carriers. While low armor sounds bad, remember the Chaos God Khorne's #1 rule. Khorne cares not from where the blood flows. Only that blood must flow. So say it with me now. Blood for the Blood God! Your two blitzers are Khorne Gores, beastmen from the Chaos team with Jump Up and Juggernaut. These are the only two pieces on your team without Frenzy, so that combined with Horns means they make pretty good ball carriers. Side note, this new addition, Khorne teams can only take up to 2 instead of 4, but I always ran 2 anyways, so I was stumped for the longest time as to why Khorne Gores got buffed to make up for positionals they didn't lose. Anyways, pushing my own stupidity aside, the real meat and bones of this team are the Blood Seekers. Chaos blockers with less agility, but Frenzy to go with their strengths 4. Having 4 strength and Frenzy is a very potent combination for blocking as long as you don't skull yourself, which will happen often because Frenzy is their only starting skill. And finally, you have the Khorne team big guy, the Blood Spawn. Frenzy is basically a requirement at this point, but the juicy part is Claws and Mighty Blow. Most big guys get one or the other, but this guy gets both. While you cannot stack the 2 skills together anymore to break any armor on a 7-up, these skills work really well together anyways because you can still apply the Mighty Blow to add +1 to an injury roll, or, if the enemy's armor was already an 8-up, you can add +1 to the armor roll and just not use Claws. However, like all big guys, Loner, plus a 1 in 6 chance not doing anything for a turn, plus an expensive hiring price tag means not every Khorne team will have one. But this is one of the few times where a big guy is on my wish list for a team in the league to get instead of another reroll. As for level ups, yeah, you are probably tired of hearing get block first at this point, but seriously, you need block on this team. After that, for linemen, sure hand for ball carrying or kick for defensive stalling is nice, but you don't want to level up your linemen too much because, you know, they're linemen. Leveling them up increases team value and they're probably going to die anyways. Khorne Gores will want block as well, or if you don't want to step on Juggernaut's toes, sure hands and or extra arm is nice for ball pickup. Ball pickup skills aren't quite as necessary anymore now that secure to ball action is an option, so you can skip this if you want to go full on blitzer with tackle and mighty blow. Blood Seekers are an interesting piece for level ups. Block is needed, obviously, but then most blockers get guard, and while guard isn't as valuable on the Blood Seekers because strength 4 plus frenzy and below average agility means you guys are rarely going to be in good positions for guard, but you can still do it if you want. It's still a good skill. Some other good skills are Tackle, Mighty Blow, and Claws. The Blood Spawn only has Strength and Mutation access, so it's harder to get block, meaning Brawler is a good substitute. And Break Tackle plus Juggernaut can make for a terrifying blitzer, and Guard is just generally good skill. hence why it's an elite skill now with even higher team value cost. Starting rosters. The most reliable option is 4 blood blockers, 2 blood beastmen, 5 blood cultists, and 3 rerolls. You can drop a reroll for an apothecary if you want, but 3 rerolls is absolutely the minimum because of just how often you will need them. Although if you really need the blood spawn, you can take it, although you need to drop 2 of your blockers and the linemen in order to afford it, which is quite a hefty trade-off, and only good if you don't see a problem with putting every egg in one basket. Or, if you're feeling lucky enough to ignore my advice, you can drop down to 2 rerolls, and with that you can get the blood spawn and a 3rd blocker. Alright, one more time. Blood for the blood god!